What in the hell is this race, and why aren't you watching it? Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a real old-fashioned barn burner. The fears that this raid was going to be done and dusted in the first 3 days, or that we might be seeing Lady Sylvanas herself at the very, very early stage of this race, are completely squashed because Blizzard have answered the call. They have answered the call in a very interesting way. The middle of the tier, only 5 bosses dead. We are 3 days into this race, and now everybody, the EU, the UK, and Asia, are all fighting it out to see who can reach number 6 out of 10, let alone 7, 8, 9, or including 10 out of 10, when we will see that. And it looks like it is going to turn into a war of endurance, this one. Let's talk about it a little bit. So, unsurprisingly, Complexity Limit and Echo were the first to reach the big wall, Painsmith. The Painsmith looks to be a beast. Now, a lot of people watching Painsmith are probably going, I am never doing that in my life, even if you are a regular Mythic Raider. I think that's okay, because I feel in my gut instincts, as soon as the big 2 get this boss done, I think we'll see some nerfs. What I feel is happening here right now is that Blizzard has said, you guys walk into our raid, you spend months preparing yourselves, and you come in and you stomp it in a couple of days. Not this time. Let's see exactly what you can do. Let's see where you can go, because we know they can do that. That's exactly what they did with Unat. Unat's that sort of bad word that no one really talks about. Literally the hardest boss they ever made isn't the one that gets discussed, but Blizzard knows how to tune a fight when they want to, and they know these guys are going to slam their faces into it. And what we do know, and what we have seen, is this fight is doable, which is why we've seen tweets out from Max saying, do not nerf this fight, please. Echo getting fired up. It was an incredible scene, if you're not following the race, is both of the different approaches that Limit and Echo were taking towards this boss. And we saw yesterday, on Echo's second day, Echo were feeling a bit down about themselves. Like, should we go and do split runs, which is where they divide the guild up into different parts and bring in friends and any viewers to get more gear from Heroic and Normal. Limit had already done that. They had already been down to Normal and gone and got more gear. Of course, the Domination socket's taking a massive impact on this race due to the sheer power of the procs. So certainly if you get 3 of those gems in there. And then Echo made a little bit of progress. They got 2%, they got 3%, they got a little 4%, then they got into the next intermission. And that all happened in the space of an hour, and then it clicked. This is doable. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal when you're dealing with a boss that is very difficult, and in the back of your mind, it's always there. And I've spoke to the Raiders, it's like, maybe this fight's not doable, maybe it's broken. And we have those memes like, mathematically impossible from Fallen Avatar. And then, you know you can do it. And Echo realized, yes, this is doable, as well as Limit. And then they went, okay, let's go. And they started pushing and pushing and pushing. So I watched Limit till like 2 a.m. and they were coming up with some huge brain ideas. And if you've not watched it, this is why the race is so fun. You see them realize that, hey, we can hang a demonic gateway like off the side of the platform, and we can literally throw ourselves off the platform, and then we can click the gateway while we're still kind of in range, and then gateway back onto the platform. We saw Blizzard come in and try and make it so they couldn't gateway through certain mechanics while making their characters small and clicking the gateway in the exact way. All these kind of things have been going on over the last little while. Now, what's happening right now, before we catch up with all the standings, because that's interesting as well, is Day 3 has just started for the US guilds. Limit has just got raiding, and they've decided it's time for the Heroic Splits. If you're not familiar with the race, Heroic Splits, where you divide the guild up and to go and get as much gear as possible on very specific characters, usually happens at the very tail end last boss of the race, because at that point, you've decided the 20 characters that are going to be in that composition to tackle the last boss, in this case, Sylvanas. Now we're seeing it at boss number 6, which means very clearly, they more than aware, they need to go and get ready for this to go 2 weeks, if not longer. Because if the next 2 bosses after this, or the next 3 bosses, are anything to go by based on Painsmith, it's going to be a war of endurance. Having your characters as powerful as possible is going to make Painsmith easier. It's going to make the Guardian the Ancients ones easier. It's going to make Fate Scribe easier. Let's get into it. Let's get it done now, because likely this is not going to be done before the reset. Everybody fully expects Sylvanas to be an absolute monster, and they also fully expect Kel'Thuzad to be an absolute monster. The other 2 is up in the air. We could see a very quick kill on Guardian the Ancient Ones. We could see that Painsmith is more like Gorefiend, where there was this huge mountain in the middle, and then the raid kind of got easier afterwards, and it's a little bit strange. We could see that. Following that decision, Echo also going to do the same thing. As I'm recording this, they've just taken their break. They have had a 10% wipe on Painsmith. They can do it if everything goes perfectly, but they know, yep, you're right, this is going to be a war of endurance. This is going to go on. Let's go and get as much gear as we possibly can. Let's get every scrap of everything we can get. Every little one DPS here, 2 DPS here, all counts when it adds up across that mythic raid. Let's go and get that done. Let's talk about the rest of the things then. So, no surprises. Big Dumb Guild getting to the 3rd place on Painsmith. So, it's not just Echo and Limit that are on Painsmith. We also have at this moment, just double checking and just refreshing here, we have Big Dumb Guild, Instant Dollars, Pieces, and Method. Now, you might have gone, who's Instant Dollars? Big surprise here and massive, massive, amazing play by these guys. Instant Dollars of US Mal'Ganis took over into that 4th place position above Pieces and Method. That's what we want to see. You guys know it. I want to see more and more people in there. That's really cool to see. Those guys coming in, and hopefully maybe we've got some more contenders who can take part in this race against these 2 Goliaths of raiding that we know in Complexity Limit and Echo. On top of that, we've got questions about Asta. I talked about this in a previous video. Asta, the Asian Super Guild, poaching players from Skyline, from GT Hong, getting all these players together to be the best of the best. How are they doing? Started off pretty strong, demolished 3 of the bosses really quickly, and then got stuck on Remnant. Reports over on Reddit, and Reddit is keeping an eye on this, seems to be that yes, Asta did go and poach the best Warlock, the best Mage. They cherry-picked the best players from these guilds. What they did not manage to get, it seems so, I can't confirm this, it's very difficult to confirm things in Asia, is that they did not manage to get the proper shot calling and leadership. The guys who are guiding that boat. Then you can't do much without that. That's why these raid leaders, your Scripes, your Maxes, your Kuznams, these players are renowned throughout history for being able to steer this ship in the right direction. And without those guys, it doesn't matter how good the individual is, you need someone to glue that all together. Because no matter how good a strategy is, going into these very early mythic bosses where you're undergeared, going in there and having to deal with stuff, it's never going to work out exact. A little bit of RNG needs some adaptation. You need to be able to switch on the fly. You need to be really quick with that, and you need to be able to guide that boat in the right direction. And it looks like they weren't able to get those characters. So, we might not see a massive tear out of Asta. We'll have to see what's going on with that. And maybe it's just a case of these are players who haven't played together before, having to come together, work as a unit. That takes time, takes some experience. That's going to be something they'll develop over time, and maybe they'll finish out a good tier, maybe not. Also, massive shouts out to Aversion, the German-only guild, who are once again impressing, as well as Sneak's Imperative, who have also managed to defeat the Remnant of Ner'zhul, because everybody's talking about Painsmith. Remnant Ner'zhul is no joke. Absolutely no joke. Taking people at least a couple of days for the all-day professional guilds to overcome. So, super exciting. Got to check this out, guys. I'll link some of the streams below. Check out Limit Max. Check out their Complexity Limits mainstream. They've got casters there, so if you've got any questions or you've never watched the race before, truly recommend you ask that there, because you've got people like Tetals and Dratnos. All those guys are going to be able to inform you of what's going on. The same with the Echo Esports channel. They've got guys over there who will explain exactly what's going on. But this race is just getting fucking started. It's just getting started. And where it goes from here, I don't know. My prediction right now is I think we will see the death of Painsmith today, late EU, middle of the night EU for my EU viewers, or towards the end of Limits Raid. Once these heroic splits are done, they do take a significant amount of time. Wouldn't be surprised if Echo spend the remainder of the day doing heroic splits and then get a fresh start on Painsmith tomorrow with much stronger characters. Limit might get them done. They started their day with the heroic splits, meaning they should get back into main raid later on in their afternoon, evening time in order to push on. And then tomorrow, we'll find out. Is Guardian the Ancient Ones going to be something that just falls over? I have no idea. Like, it could do. It really could do. If it's just a straight DPS check, these guys are the best of the best of the best when it comes to pressing those global cooldowns, man. They might be able to overcome that. Or will we see Sludgefist, where, no, this fight is brutal. Absolutely brutal, and you're going to have to scrimp and scrape every ounce of critical strike and mastery you can find and keep everybody alive under absolutely harsh conditions in order to survive. How complicated is Fate Scribe going to be? Because they could choose. They can go over to Guardian Ancient Ones, they can go over to Fate Scribe. Do they want the more technical fight? Maybe they're better at that. They're very good players. Maybe the more technical fight over on Fate Scribe got to be a little bit easier than the brute force needed over on Guardian the Ancient Ones, should that fight play out that way. Only when those two die will we even get to Kel'Thuzad. And I cannot believe, for the life of me, that we are now 3 days in. 3 days into this race, and we are halfway through this raid. Insane. Absolutely insane. Make sure you check it out, guys. I will come back when there's more to talk about, obviously. But be good, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.